Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Star Fox Zero walkthrough. This is, what did that say? Combat Zone, Sector Alpha, Frenzied Firefight. I'm going to be getting the gold score on this mission, and I'm hopefully going to be showing you how to emulate it. So at the very beginning, you'll notice there's a ton of enemies coming towards you. A good idea here is to set off a bomb. And if you don't know, when you press B to fire the bomb, or whatever it is on that controller, fuck the controller, it confuses me. They've removed where A and B should be. It's very, very strange, but you understand, you're a Nintendo guy. If you press the bomb button after firing a bomb out, you can detonate it in midair and get greater levels of control. Additionally here, do you see those red freighters that are shooting at us? If you shoot their turrets individually, you can get +3 beats off of... Why do I say beats? I don't know why. +3 hits off of each of them sometimes, depending on if you get both. And you can get a lot more than just, say, firing a bomb and taking it out and getting a single three-hit combo there. And all you want to do here is you need to focus on these rotating triangle-y things. They're really good if you can hit all of them. They give you a massive boost. And just don't get too caught up on individual targets. That's the easiest way to mess up in scoring in a game such as this, is to focus on getting the guy who's just ran away. You want to try and always know where the big payoff is and focus on that. This is actually one of my favourite missions in the game. I think it's a good example of the game working really well and being a lot of fun. So here is a couple of moments where ships are going to align and there's more of these vehicles that you can focus on. I don't know why sometimes when you fire your charge shot it goes blue and sometimes it's green. I think it was always a part of the game, because I remember it in the multiplayer of Lilac Wars, but it's been such a long time since I played those games and I had a lot of knowledge that I couldn't honestly tell you what it is. I'm sure somebody more experienced and knowledgeable will comment about it in the video, but I'm not too sure why, but I really prefer the blue one. The blue one just seems to work way better than the green one does. As we push forward here, shooting as many things as we can to get that hit up. These barges that are going to move across all have the turrets on them, and they're a bit of a red herring, because you want to hit the dudes that will stack up around them. Don't focus on the turrets at all, if you can help it. Like, do you see here, how all of them came together? If you can get that at the most optimum moment and fire that off, you can probably hit all of them and get a really, really cool modifier on your score. But it's definitely something that takes practice, and it's one of the most rewarding and interesting aspects of this game. And I say that rather critically, as this is another interesting area where you could probably use a bomb and get a lot more enemies than I just did, but we managed to get a couple of hits off it. Trying to get the blue one out there to kill a bunch of them. There's 2 groups here if you can get them. And then after this, there's a ton of enemies that are going to come out of the shuttle, so if you can get as many of those as well, you're going to be laughing with your score. So just try and do whatever it takes to get those hits. But this game is very similar to Lilac Wars in a lot of ways, because you pretty much are visiting the same planets. Like, the map looks identical to my memory of that game. And I might be incorrect there, because, like I say, guys, I had that thing on the N64, and that was a long time ago when you think back. So I can't really say with any kind of confidence as we move into an internal area where we're in the warship. And my only advice here is if you can line up these creatures and hit them when they're close to each other, you'll get bonus hits, which will... Everything helps. A lot of the times you're going to be beating these scores with maybe 10 or maybe underneath 10 hits difference, so you want to squeeze as many points as you can if you're not, you know, a super pro score person. Also, try and get used to the controls of this, because it's not the most intuitive control scheme. The game utilises both analogs for movement, and I have absolutely no idea why it chose to do that. It's one of the biggest mistakes I think they could have made, and it makes no sense. It's constantly undercut by the fact that a lot of the evasive manoeuvres that feature analogs can be done on the face buttons, so what's the fucking point, outside of nostalgia and old-fashioned, you know, homages to the previous games? Like, I think on the N64 you did the flips with the C buttons. I think it was like down up for the flip and left for the evades and stuff. And it made sense on that game because the other analog tilted your ship and shot. Like, it worked because it was 2 things moving in conjunction, whereas this just isn't. Because of the motion controls that are constantly at fight with you. And it's a tug of war of control, which is incredibly frustrating. And I think it could have all been avoided if you could turn it off. It makes no sense that you can't. And this is a big criticism, this, of either Nintendo or Platinum, because the Wonderful 101, the entire gimmick of that game is that you draw on the tablet to attack. It's a fascinating experiment in control. It's the evolution of what Okami did. Oh, by the way, guys, you need to shoot the creatures inside these walls to get those extra hits if you're behind. This is the reason I get the score, by killing these dudes, and I completely missed them my first attempt, and I failed. But the Wonderful 101 enabled you to have this really interesting, slightly higher ceiling for learning, but a great reward if you got good at it. And do you know what it also did? It enabled you to never use that at all to draw. You could use the right analog for everything. And it made it so that there was something for everybody. If you want to draw, use the thing. If you don't, use the control. Use whatever you prefer. And that's how you make a game. This game doesn't have that, and it should. If I could have used the right analog stick to aim and the face buttons to dodge, I would have loved this game a lot more than I do. I really would have, but that's just not how it works. And it leads to these wonderful moments where you're trying to spin and you end up doing a backflip, or you're trying to boost forward and chase somebody shooting them, and because you're using both analogs, you'll do a fucking somersault. Awkward, weird moments where in one vehicle turning right on one analog turns you right, and in another one it's inverted. Really bizarre controlling moments where you just... it's very hard to feel like you're in control. And then the times when you have to constantly press reset on your aimer because it's gone off with dog somewhere and you can't find it on the screen and you're being shot at, and like you've got very precise windows to do things effectively if you're going for score and precision, and the game is just wrestling you the entire time. One thing that needs to be said though is you can accommodate to it, you can learn, you can adapt, but it still doesn't make it feel good, and that's my criticism. It's not that you have to use it, even though I don't think it should have been forced on us. It's that it's not as good as it seems to think it is, and that's the really big problem. Because in the old games, I feel like I would have played better, you know, and I've not played these games in a while. Maybe I just suck. There's definitely potential for that, as I miss one of the medals and get shot by that dickhead. But there's, like, can you notice how my aimer looks like it's fidgeting? That's the inherent trembling in my hands that my hands just do because I'm holding a controller above my lap. And, you know, the human body vibrates. And that's what you're seeing. And it's just this thing of... the only time I really think that the aiming is better, and I use the word better, stressing it strange. This is me trying to find any kind of weird secrets just to try and boost my hits, because I didn't think I had it. That's what you're watching, guys. I was also trying to reset the medal, but it seems like it's a one-shot deal, which is a little bit annoying. And then you're going to see us fight the same boss as the last level, because that's kind of a secret in the last level. But the only time I really feel like the aiming is an add-on to the quality of the game is when you're in the dogfights against the Star Wolf pilots, I think they're called. Because when you tilt the controller when you're trying to do a sharp left or right turn, your plane will pivot even further than it will on the television. So you can use it to make shots off screen. And it's going to look really weird in this walkthrough because I'm going to be shooting at somebody I can see on the controller but you can't see on the TV. And it's this really strange disconnect of... it's really good for that, but in every other situation it's kind of fucking worthless. And there will be people who put the time in and get really, really efficient with it. But even then, I bet you if they were completely honest with themselves, they would tell you that there are areas that are lacking and that there are areas that they have to compensate to make it effective and to make it usable. And just because you can get used to something doesn't make it good design, and that's the biggest crippling factor of this game. Something made complicated for the sake of technology that was completely unnecessary. But there is 305, I beat it by 5 points, that was those dudes in the walls. So either play way better than me, or get cheeky and get that score, guys. Thank you very much for watching, you take care now.